takes care of you. Like, how weak-minded, how much of a fucking worm-like individual are you? You know? How much of a fucking cowardly, worm-like individual are you? Most likely spending years talking about how much you are a defender of free speech, only to turn around and be like, actually, I've decided speech that I don't like should be met with criminal penalties. At least the hysterical SJW archetype that you fucking yelled about for years and years, that you fantasized as like making, fantasized as made video game titties smaller or whatever, actually has a morally righteous position. Maybe they're not the best on camera. Maybe they come across as kind of fucking annoying, but ultimately they are on the morally correct side and they believe what they're saying. You, on the other hand, are pathetic. You have no discernible position. You're simply a pathetic worm who complained about SJWs only to fucking turn around and demand that people you don't like get arrested. At least SJWs were just simply like censoring, I don't know, not censoring, but like trying to fucking change art. It was annoying and I didn't like it either. But you want motherfuckers to get arrested.
Downtown LA, the graffiti is everywhere and has caused significant damages to businesses and a number of properties.
Please.
So my message to you is, if you do not live or work in downtown LA, avoid the area. Law enforcement will arrest individuals who break the curfew, and you will be prosecuted. Hundreds of officers from police and sheriff departments from across the region and state are working alongside LAPD through a unified command structure. The curfew will be in place tonight from 8 p.m. until 6 a.m. I want to thank the governor for his partnership and especially thank our state and local leaders and deputies, officers and deputies who are working tirelessly. So curfew guidance, again, it will begin at 8 p.m. tonight and go until 6 a.m. tomorrow. I will consult with elected leaders and law enforcement officials tomorrow on the continuation of the curfew, but we certainly expect for it to last for several days. The curfew area will be between the 5 freeway and to the 110 and the 10 freeway to where the 110 freeway and 5 freeway merge. You look at the map and you can see that the city of Los Angeles is a massive area, 502 square miles. The area of downtown where the curfew will take place is 1 square mile. I think it is important to point this out, not to minimize the vandalism and violence that has taken place there. It has been significant, but it is extremely important to know that what is happening in this 1 square mile
We're going to violate the curfew with Murad.
Some of the imagery of the protests and the violence gives the appearance as though this is a citywide crisis, and it is not. So everyone must abide by this curfew. Limited exceptions will apply for residents, people traveling to and from work, and credentialed media representatives. With that, I would like to turn it over to...
That's why I needed the credentials.
Thank you, Mayor Bass. Good afternoon, everyone. As the mayor stated, a curfew for the impacted area as shown here will go into effect tonight. And I want to be absolutely clear that if you're within that designated curfew zone between the hours of 8 p.m. and 6 a.m. And are not exempt under the order, you're going to be subject to arrest. The curfew boundaries are as follows: from the 5 freeway to the 110 freeway, and from the 10 freeway to the point where the 110 and the 5 merge. Easier to look at it on that map for description. The curfew is necessary, a necessary measure to protect lives and safeguard property following several consecutive days of growing unrest throughout the city. Since Saturday, we've seen a concerning escalation in unlawful and dangerous behavior. On Saturday, LAPD officers made 27 arrests. On Sunday, that number rose to 40. By Monday, arrests totaled 114, and today alone, we've made 197 arrests. The recent days, it's been as a part of a unified command with our partner agencies who've responded through mutual aid compact and been very, very helpful to us, and we're very thankful for that participation. Of those I mentioned for today, 130 were arrested near Commercial and Alameda. An additional 67 were taken into custody after unlawfully occupying the 101 freeway near Commercial Street. Our CHP partners were instrumental in that. So again, let me be clear that this behavior, blocking freeways, city streets, and on-ramps, refusing to comply with lawful dispersal orders, and interfering with public safety operations is dangerous, unlawful, and won't be tolerated. If you are in the curfew zone during the restricted hours without that legal exemption, you will be arrested. If you assault an officer in any fashion, you will be arrested. We're operating under a unified command with our partners at the Los Angeles City Fire Department, the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, the California Highway Patrol. We're fully coordinated, and our shared mission is clear: to restore peace and ensure the safety of everyone in our city. We previously mobilized part of our department at LAPD while keeping our ability to be able to provide the services that our community deserves going. We're going to be adding to that deployment with additional internal LAPD resources in the days ahead. The curfew does not apply to residents within the designated area, individuals experiencing homelessness, credentialed media, or public safety and emergency personnel. To be clear again, that's not about silencing voices or suppressing lawful protest. When that expression crosses into unlawful conduct, when lives are put at risk, and when our city's safety is compromised, we must act, and we will act. We urge all Angelenos to cooperate with these public safety measures.
You said, I can't wait to see what Republicans say about the citywide curfews imposed. They're going to love it. They're like, I hope they kill people that violate the curfew. Journalists, you cannot be cited for curfew violations while out reporting tonight. That's what I thought too, but they're saying credentialed media reporters, so I'm trying to see if I can get the credentials.
Today, not just as the council member who represents downtown LA, but
by the way, getting credentialed doesn't mean that you can fucking still report. They can still arrest you, okay? Yeah. Republicans be like, bring in the FEMA coffins too. Put them in a FEMA camp. And then kill them. Kill them in the FEMA camps.
Where workers clock in before sunrise and small business owners know their customers by name.
People are saying PSL
where
are
neighbors
feds.
greet each other on the sidewalk, and where generations of families have built lives, shared stories, made memories together side by side. It's one of the most vibrant and resilient and hopeful parts of our city. But too often, downtown LA is treated like a backdrop for major events, not the living, breathing community it is. And right now, it's hurting.
What?
I am deeply proud that downtown has always been the place where
They're saying PSL are feds because I hate to bring this up in public, but I'm left with no choice. But a conversation issue with some PSL leads about this action, how micro-organizers in the DMV were not consulted on this. We flagged that Columbia Heights is a densely populated immigrant community, and this rally will bring ICE and a bunch of cops to the community. They also mentioned they do not have a safety plan if there are mass arrests. I understand the need for mass mobilization, but when your local migrant organizer is telling you not to do this action, why are you not listening? Yeah, I don't think PSL are feds. Everybody stop fucking crying and saying CIA alert. PSL is Party for Socialism and Liberation. And no, I don't fucking agree with this at all. I don't agree with this statement at all. I'm not entirely familiar with fucking Columbia Heights, so I can't speak on it, but I don't... They're not fucking feds. Alex is the one who I was asking for help with the sheriff's department press credentials. LA Mayor Karen Bass announces curfew for 1 square mile of downtown Los Angeles tonight from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. She's declared a local emergency in this area where we've seen the worst violence. The worst violence, man. The violence has been so crazy. As someone from the area, they aren't feds, but it's a bad idea in that area. I mean, here's the thing. In this migrant community, when PSL puts out a fucking call like that, the expectation is not for undocumented migrants to attend the protest. The expectation is for privileged people who have documentation to attend the protest. to do a big demonstration and a show of force. Obviously, if you are undocumented, you should not be anywhere near a protest like this. I don't personally think it's that bad of an... Like, they're saying, oh, this will invite ICE into this community. The notion that, like, ICE is not aware of this massive fucking Latino community is crazy. Yeah, Bass said the curfew will last several days. I know. This is why I'm trying to fucking figure out what I can do. I also suspect that this is to specifically pack up anyone that wants to continue demonstrations at night. The event was packed here in ATL and was mostly non-white people. I noticed as a white guy. Also, the fellow Islam viewer I met was a black woman, for the record. Okay, I don't know why you had to specify that. This is a very diverse community, as we know from all the people that showed up. Newsom is going to be speaking in 30 minutes. We'll obviously be tuning into that. I live in downtown LA, but happen to be out of town. Won't be back till 17th. How will this curfew impact local residents? First of all, the curfew will be gone by then. Because if the curfew is still implemented by the 17th, we have way bigger problems than the fucking curfew. And secondly, no, of course, if you're residential, you're fine. Your freedom of movement will be a little restricted. Cops might fucking harass you. They might annoy you. Oftentimes, this is what happens when they implement citywide curfews like this, is like, it's not actually the protesters that get fucked over. It's literally the residents that get fucked over because they will unceremoniously detain you for no reason. Governor Newsom to address the nation in less than 30 minutes. Midas Touch got the YouTube exclusive to stream it. Oh, Midas Touch. What is this? I think ICE provoked this whole thing in LA. Stop. Stop. Why do you purposely show me bad takes? Why? Why do you purposely show me fucking bad takes? It's just gonna it's gonna hurt my feelings. It's gonna make me mad. I've already addressed all of the takes that needed to be addressed a million times over today. Why the fuck do you have to turn around and show me more additional bad takes? Newsom's position is that ICE officers should be able to carry out enforcement operations. Law enforcement should be able to handle unruly protests, and the rest of us should be free to live in a city that isn't heavily militarized for no reason. Stevens' position is that we should use the U.S. military to arrest and detain anyone he suspects may be undocumented, even if they're not. No, I don't think ICE officers should be able to carry out enforcement operations. No, fuck that. This was retweeted by Governor Gavin Newsom. Yeah, Governor Newscum and Mayor Ass. Mayor Karen Ass. Believe it, folks. Mayor Karen Ass. She's so ass. No. I do not think ICE should be fucking operating inside of California at all. I don't think ICE should operate at all. Here's what I think. I think if someone is in the country illegally and they do a fucking crime, then obviously local law enforcement is going to apprehend them and prosecute them. Okay? Only after that person has done a heinous crime and charged and maybe even went to fucking prison for it can ICE actually move in to deport that person after going through a secondary court process with the proper immigration authorities. Okay? I don't think people who are just simply living in Los Angeles and not doing anything, not harming anybody, okay? I don't think those people should be fucking arrested and deported. They have families here. They've been working here. They should get proper fucking paperwork. You just said ICE shouldn't exist, though. Yes, ICE shouldn't exist. ICE didn't exist before 9/11. It was perfectly fine. It wasn't like there was mass amounts of undocumented crimes that were taking place on U.S. soil non-fucking stop when ICE didn't exist. It's bullshit. It was additional pork. It was an agency that did not need to fucking exist. Pre 9/11, it was called INS. Okay? And guess what? You know, here's another great testament to how undocumented migrants don't actually do fucking crimes. Okay? Reagan amnesty. Reagan offered amnesty to a fuck ton of undocumented migrants. What happened? Did they all just go, oh, yeah, thank God we have the full control over the law enforcement now. Like we can do all the crimes possible. Hell yeah, let's do crimes now. Is that what happened? It's insane. Like Britney Spears' iconic sophomore album Oops, I Did It Again is 3 years older than ICE. Yes. Nintendo GameCube is older than ICE, by the way. ICE can still be abolished. It's true. My dad came into the USA at 82 at 14. Luckily, he got amnesty. Yeah, also, amnesty still is a popular alternative, a more popular alternative to mass deportations. No one ever talks about it, but amnesty, mass conditional amnesty, okay, is significantly more popular than motherfucking mass deportations. It's not only more popular, but it is quite literally beneficial for American taxes, for American commerce. It is literally better to actually offer conditional amnesty to every undocumented migrant living on U.S. soil that hasn't done a heinous fucking crime or whatever, that has been living here for an extended period of time, that have lives here. It's so crazy. I have not yielded from this position even a little bit in the last 12 years that I've been a fucking professional political commentator. And it feels like every single day that passes, that becomes less likely of an alternative, regardless of the fact that it's still more popular than mass deportations.
And who are using violence, and those vandals should be arrested and prosecuted. But I think it's reasonable to set a curfew and hope things settle down.
So amnesty for everyone and fuck the rules? Bitch, what rules? It is an unjustifiable rule to begin with. And Reagan fucking did it too. What do you mean? Ronald Reagan did it. Shut the fuck up.
To the country.
Yeah, and you just mentioned the president. One thing that he has been saying today is that the protesters that we're seeing, the agitators, the people who are causing violence, are paid. We don't have any evidence of that, but it is something that he's been saying repeatedly for the last several days. And today I want you to play...
But why is it unjustified? Okay, good question. Kevin Lowe Maxta, when did your family come here? I know your ass ain't Native American. When the fuck did your stupid ass parents come here? When? How many generations are you removed from not being on the American continent? If you say you're not okay, well then suck my cock. I hope you never are allowed to enter this fucking country. Nope, sorry, not gonna hear from fucking foreigners, okay? Not gonna hear from dumb fuck foreigners LARPing as American hogs and hogettes when I have to deal with the homegrown domestic terror here on a daily fucking basis. There is nothing more disgusting than fucking Canadian LARPers that come in here and they're like, oh, eh? Oh, I don't know, eh? What are we supposed to do? Don't you know? I love MAGA. Get the fuck out of here. Go be a nuisance in your own goddamn country. Okay? The people who here illegally are foreigners. Hey, dumb fuck. The people here illegally are not foreigners after they fucking live on U.S. soil for an extended period of time. Okay? Dumb fuck foreigners. I mean, yeah, ship them all out. You're correct. Yes, they are. Listen, just because you crawled out of your disgusting mother's pussy in a fucking American zip code does not give you extra fucking clout here, okay? That's all you did. You're still a fucking waste of space. I would rather deport your stupid ass, okay, to bring in 10 Guatemalans any fucking day of the week. You don't know how to do anything. You don't know your ass from your elbow. At least those motherfuckers, all they want to do is have a better life for themselves, okay? Ironic? Yeah, real ironic. You are a waste of space. You are a waste of energy. You are a waste of time, okay? Those dudes are trekking through insane conditions to be able to fucking get here for the promise of a better life for themselves and their families, okay? They're being shipped out as we speak, so yeah, I know. Is that gonna make your life better? Do you think your family won't celebrate when you inevitably do the deed? They will. You will liberate them from the crushing anchor that you have become around their neck. At a certain point, they thought you showed promise. They bred you, okay? They educated you, or at least tried to, and look what you have become. Trust me on this, okay? Trust me. They're being shipped out as we speak. Your life is not going to get better even if 20 million migrants are deported from this country. You will still be the same pathetic pussy who fucking cries endlessly that nobody wants to be around him, whose friends and family members no longer pick up the call, whose family literally lies to every single person that comes for Thanksgiving dinner. When people ask, where is Aaron? And they say, oh, he's spending Thanksgiving elsewhere this year. Oh, that's interesting. He was spending Thanksgiving elsewhere last year too. Meanwhile, you're upstairs masturbating to whatever fucking food porn you found, while on the second monitor you have your least favorite fucking Twitch streamer and you're trying to jerk off with one hand and also type with the other in the chat of that Twitch streamer that you despise. You are a waste, okay? You're a waste of air. Keep fantasizing about the government doing cruelty to people who don't deserve it and hoping that that will somehow elevate your position in society. It won't, okay? Even if you fantasize about projections, yes, that's true. This is exactly my life. Yeah, you got me. Now listen. Now listen. Ban for no reason law? What do you mean? If someone is fucking celebrating, if someone is celebrating migrant workers getting packed up and deported and shipped off to a fucking CCOT facility, and that hopefully makes makes them feel better about their fucking pathetic existence, that's not a ban for no reason. You're getting banned for being a dumbass white supremacist. I keep some of the pets in here at least so we can make fun of them, but there's only a certain level of like reactionary sentiment that I'll allow. He dislike you but not blame. What? I don't care if he likes me or dislikes me. Someone could love me in this chat, and if they were to come in here with that fucking energy celebrating mass deportations, I'm gonna fucking ban them. And if someone actually chooses what I get to do in my own fucking community, I'll ban them too, bitch ass. I saw you on the news and decided to see what's up, and it's wild how much people lie about you. It's true. Get the road spray out. Get the fucking road spray out, baby. Anyway.
Alvarez is here, CNN legal and national security analyst Carrie Cordero, and also CNN's chief law enforcement and intelligence analyst John Miller is with me. And John, obviously you have experience with the LAPD. Just from your perspective, as you're watching this play out tonight with this curfew that is for downtown Los Angeles, again, as the mayor said, it's 1 square mile out of the 500 square miles that encompasses LA. What do you make of what this is going to look like and how it will change or not what's happening on the ground tonight?
Well, I think what they're doing by making it so early, 8 p.m., and I mean, remember, Caitlin, this is the first curfew Los Angeles has had since the 1992 riots. And this...
Be careful when you say, when you do the deed, it can be used out of context to say you're telling people to game delete. No, of course not. I mean, game delete, like a save file, yeah, maybe. I mean, when I say do the deed, I mean, you know, go take a shower, go to the gym, improve your life, you know. It's up to interpretation.
So many officers gives them two opportunities. One,
move out of the house finally.
Off the X of that symbolic target, the courthouse
touch
and the
grass.
Jail. Two, it allows them to stop anybody who's moving in that area because they won't need any probable
I would never mean the other thing. I would never.
Curfew. If they're out in that area and they're not authorized, they can be arrested right away. But here's the key to this. Look at the arrest numbers. 40 on Sunday, 114 on Monday, 197 on Tuesday, and then 67 more by California Highway Patrol. So that's 264. They were reaching the pace within that small area of Los Angeles with these arrests to say, we're steaming towards something that is becoming too hard to work with this number of cops. Let's just lock it down.
Yeah, and I want to point out, if you can see, John, we're looking at Chicago right now and scenes coming out of there as, you know, people might look at this and think, oh, that's Los Angeles. No, this is what's happening in Chicago. We saw it last night in Dallas and in Austin to a degree. We're watching with Shimon to see what's happening inside New York tonight, obviously, as everyone is staying on high alert for this. If you're law enforcement in another city and you're watching what's happening in LA, you're watching this curfew be put in place, is that something that they're paying attention to in case it is a cause or it's a need in places like Chicago?
Well, it is. Now, there are some key differences. Now, New York had its last curfew in 2020 during the riots after the George...
Genuine question, Canadians shouldn't get an opinion on this? No, everyone can have an opinion on this, but if it's a fucking right-wing one, I'm going to ban you just as I would fucking ban an annoying right-wing hog that is like celebrating these kinds of fucking actions. You know what I mean? You're allowed to have an opinion. You just, depending on how you put that opinion out there in a chat like this, and depending on how angry I am in that moment, honestly, you can get away with it or not.
Under their head count. This has been putting a real strain on the department in a very small area. They've got 725 officers in that area right now.
Yeah, why you ban me when I racist type shit?
Coming on at midnight. And what they're hoping to do is walk the tension level down and maybe get some of those resources, police resources, back to patrolling the rest of the city.
Yeah, we'll continue to see what happens. It's remarkable to see when the last time these curfews were put in place. And Priscilla, in terms of what we're seeing happening in LA, we've been talking about the National Guard being there, what's happening with ICE, as Tom Homan said last night. These ICE arrests
acting ICE chief promises to neutralize LA rioters. Suck my dick.
Out of Los Angeles. We saw these images of what appears to be National Guard troops helping ICE agents conduct these arrests, not actually arresting people, but basically kind of standing guard as they work.
Yeah, this was a remarkable image because of just how unusual it is. In fact, as soon as I saw it, you'll see it right there on your screen, that I texted my sources and no one had recalled an instance where National Guard was involved at all in any type of interior enforcement, Immigration and Customs.
No one could remember this happening.
No one could remember this happening. So this was a situation where National Guard has been deployed to serve as a security perimeter as well as to protect the federal building. In this case, they appear to be doing the former, which is providing a security perimeter as Immigration and Customs Enforcement continue their operations in Los Angeles. But it certainly marks an escalation because even if National Guard isn't arresting anyone, just serving as a security perimeter to ICE as they're conducting these operations is notable. And again, it's an image that no one that I've talked to can recall ever seeing before. Even if we have seen, for example, National Guard helping along the U.S. southern border before, this in the interior is remarkable. And it is telling, Caitlin, of the bigger backdrop here, which is that the administration has been pulling every lever of government to try to get more assistance to ICE to drum up their immigration arrests. And this perhaps marks yet another moment, a remarkable one, as they move to using National Guard as well.
Yeah,
even if not again for arrests.
Making that case to Republicans as well about boosting their funding. But Carrie, when you look at this, and we're waiting to hear from California Governor Gavin Newsom, he's been doing a few interviews here and there, but his first time, addressing all of California in terms of what's happening in Los Angeles tonight, and his response to the president bringing in the National Guard. A judge today declined to immediately basically put a restraining order on this lawsuit that he's filed over Trump calling in the National Guard. What do you make of that standing that he has?
Well, I think
Gavin's on in
governor
9 minutes.
Of really what any other governor in the entire country would make, which is that they are the commander of their own National Guard. And they have
this protest is so left biased. Why don't they ask the government to get the documents if they have a job? Job equals support the country. Stopping ICE operations is not the solution in the first place. Brother, I'm going to very carefully explain to you what's going on right now, and I hope we can clear up some miscommunication and some confusion that you're clearly demonstrating. ICE agents are conducting raids at job sites. They're getting the information from the IRS because not only are these migrants working at places where they're participating in the flow of commerce, but they're also paying taxes. ICE knows where they live because the IRS knows where they live. The IRS knows how much they pay in taxes. The IRS knows where their place of business is, where their place of work is. ICE gets that information from the IRS and then uses that information to go conduct raids at job sites. Is this going to change your mind about why people are fucking frustrated and maybe, in your words, left biased? Considering that you seemingly also recognize it to be fucking cruel and unusual to go after people who are simply working?
Donald Trump.
I await your response with bated breath. You've been following since 2023. Hopefully, we'll be able to reach you. Don't you need a social security number, which is given if you're a citizen? If not, how are they paying taxes? Just asking so I can educate myself to learn. Great question. Every single person that is not a U.S. citizen still gets a tax identification number, an ITIN. So if they do not have a social security, as obviously migrant workers do not, they get an ITN. They have some form of taxpayer identifier, because I think we all know the goddamn federal government is very bad at a lot of things, but the one thing that they will not skimp out on is collecting taxes.
is sending in the troops, not to Ukraine, not to Iran, not even to Greenland.
What about Tel Aviv? Oh my God.
But to LA, Los Angeles, the second biggest city in the United States, to crack down on people protesting ICE raids on a Home Depot. Shocking, right? We should be shocked. No president has deployed the National Guard without the consent of a state governor since LBJ in 1965, 60 years ago. And Trump isn't just targeting LA for military deployment.
Well, we're going to have troops everywhere. We're not going to let this happen to our country.
So be shocked, but don't be surprised. This is who Trump is.
That's completely false. I own a business and you need to have an employee form filled out, and 90% of the time you need documentation to show you're a citizen. How do they pay taxes if they aren't citizens? Don't you need proper info to file taxes, etc.? Bro, I just literally told you the legal ways in which migrant workers that have either temporary protected status or are like awaiting their fucking court date for their permanent clearance will pay taxes. I gave you the actual identification. I gave you the actual individual taxpayer identification number. An ITIN is a 9-digit number the IRS issues if you need a U.S. taxpayer identification number for federal tax purposes but aren't eligible for a social security number. This is from obviously a biased fake website called irs.gov. Clearly, they're lying. Also, under normal circumstances, obviously, the IRS was supposed to keep this information private, but the Trump administration changed that in January 25, 2025. Literally, one of the first actions that they engaged in was to revoke the privacy of, like IRS normally, under normal circumstances, is only allowed to give out private information to taxpayers with a warrant. It's supposed to be private information. Now they're giving it to the ICE agencies.
This is what he said he would do if he returned to office. Were you not paying attention? Or were you accusing people like me of hyperbole and fear-mongering, of Trump derangement syndrome, when we said he was going to use the military against his domestic political opponents like the fascist autocrat he's always wanted to be? Did you not hear what Mark Esper, Trump's defense secretary at the end of his first term, revealed to 60 Minutes back in 2022 in reference to the George Floyd protests 2 years earlier?
Can't you just shoot them? Just shoot them in the legs or something. And he's suggesting that that's what we should do, that we should bring in the troops and shoot the protesters.
Trump asked his then defense secretary to shoot protesters with live ammo. Esper said no. That's why this time...
Gavin is on. Where's Gruesome Gav? Gruesome Gov Gav. Do you have a link? Chess, send me a link. Let's hear what Gruesome Gov Gav has to say. Also known as New Scum. Wait, what the fuck? He's not live. Why are you guys... Bro, why are y'all always lying, bro? Why are you all always lying? You are always lying to me. You do this every time. He's not live yet, okay? That's why I was surprised that fucking CNN wasn't showing it.
There are easily thousands of people here in downtown Chicago. Earlier, we had this video, and I believe that we can show it to you. The major incident here was a car going through part of the crowd. They didn't plow right into the thick of the crowd, but it sort of wove through some of the protesters and clipped protesters on either side and then bolted down the street. That was at Wabash and Monroe, Caitlin. We're still working with the Chicago Police Department to find out more information about that, if that driver has been arrested, and any details that might help explain exactly why that happened. So right now, the protest is sort of is spreading out at the moment. Before it was a lot denser, but now you're seeing, again, the Chicago Police Department spread out in lines here, and the crowd is starting to break apart a little bit, Caitlin.
Okay, Whitney Wild, keep us updated with what you've been seeing on the ground as we're watching closely as these protests are not just happening in Los Angeles, as we can see, they're also happening in Chicago, New York, other cities across the United States as well. As we're monitoring, though, what is happening in LA and waiting to hear from the governor, who's expected to speak any moment now. We did just hear from the city's mayor, who said that approximately 23 businesses in downtown Los Angeles have been looted during the protests that we're seeing happening over the last few days.
Why is there no audio?
This comes as CNN has learned that the more than 700 Marines that we told you about last
Why
night
is there no audio?
activated to go and assist the National Guard in
Are you fucking kidding me? What's going on? I didn't mute this window. What? Do you guys see the audio? It's not just you. Damn, he's spitting, dude. Wait, there's no way he prepared this like sexy ass big reveal and there's no fucking audio and the chat is disabled so we can't even experience the joy. He's going hard right now. Midas touch. No sound. Midas touch exclusive. Holy fuck. 45,000 watching Midas touch live stream right now. 46,000 started streaming 3 minutes ago. Oh my god, Midas touch bangs, dude. They are literally, they are the top dogs. My bad. Midas touch. I'm sorry. I didn't know what kind of fucking smoke y'all had. I didn't know what kind of crazy smoke y'all had, Midas touch. Midas touch apology form. I thought Asmongold was the #1 political content creator on the platform. Turns out it's fucking Midas touch, bro. It's 4 minutes and already passed me. And no audio too. Wait, there's sound here?
Federal judge. So we're not exactly sure what this press conference is about, but we are trying to bring that to you very
They don't
shortly.
even know what the press
This,
conference
of course,
is about
comes on
because
top
it's
of the news
muted.
from Mayor Bass
Oh,
that
what a fucking
curfew
clown!
has been imposed, and one square mile.
Oh, Gavin, you suck. You fucking suck. Hey, yo, Gav. This live stream shit ain't for you, big dog. Maybe instead of having Charlie Kirk on, you could have had me on. I could have taught you a thing or two. Oh, negative aura. Oh my god. Oh, what's up, Kaya? Gavin Newsom made a big show of making this announcement, and it was fucking muted the entire time. Oh, hell yeah. Dude, the Republicans are gonna cook his ass. I think the Republicans are going to cook his ass. It's especially funny because he made like such a big show of it. You know what I mean? Boo, no sound, hacked, sabotage, Blue Anon on the Midas touch tip. Claiming sabotage.
I want to say a few words about the
Oh, he's back!
This past weekend, federal agents conducted large-scale workplace raids in and around Los Angeles. Those raids continue as I speak. California is no stranger to immigration enforcement, but instead of focusing on undocumented immigrants with serious criminal records and people with final deportation orders, a strategy both parties have long supported, this administration is pushing mass deportations, indiscriminately targeting hardworking immigrant families, regardless of their roots or risk. What's happening right now is very different than anything we've seen before. On Saturday morning, when federal agents jumped out of an unmarked van near a Home Depot parking lot, they began grabbing people, a deliberate targeting of a heavily Latino suburb. A similar scene played out when a clothing company was raided downtown. In other actions, a U.S. citizen, 9 months pregnant, was arrested. A 4-year-old girl taken, families separated, friends quite literally disappearing. In response, everyday Angelenos came out to exercise their constitutional right to free speech and assembly, to protest their government's actions. In turn, the state of California and the city and county of Los Angeles sent our police officers to help keep the peace. And with some exceptions, they were successful. Like many states, California is no stranger to this sort of unrest. We manage it regularly and with our own law enforcement. But this, again, was different. What then ensued was the use of tear gas, flashbang grenades, rubber bullets. Federal agents detaining people and undermining their due process rights. Donald Trump, without consulting California law enforcement leaders, commandeered 2,000 of our state's National Guard members to deploy on our streets, illegally and for no reason. This brazen abuse of power by a sitting president inflamed a combustible situation, putting our people, our officers, and even our National Guard at risk. That's when the downward spiral began. He doubled down on his dangerous National Guard deployment by fanning the flames even harder. And the president, he did it on purpose. As the news spread throughout LA, anxiety for family and friends ramped up. Protests started again. By night, several dozen lawbreakers became violent and destructive. They vandalized property. They tried to assault police officers. Many of you have seen the video.
Say you're going to violently apprehend ICE agents.
If you incite violence,
say you're going to use your police force as a military.
Or destroy our communities, you're going to be held to account. That kind of criminal behavior will not be tolerated.
No, you're punishing the fucking Los Angelenos.
220
Punish
people have been
ICE,
arrested.
Gavin.
And we're reviewing tapes to build additional cases, and people will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Again, thanks to our law enforcement officers and the majority of Angelenos who protested peacefully, the situation was winding down and was concentrated in just a few square blocks downtown. But that's not what Donald Trump wanted. He again chose escalation.
The fucking federal, the federal law enforcement hasn't even done shit yet. They're not allowed to. It's the Los Angeles cops that have escalated the situation every single day so far.
Active U.S.
Those are your guys. You just
These
thank
are the men and women trained for foreign combat, not domestic law enforcement. We honor their service. We honor their bravery. But we do not want our streets militarized by our own armed forces. Not in LA, not in California, not anywhere. We're seeing unmarked cars in school parking lots, kids afraid of attending their own graduation. Trump is pulling a military dragnet all across Los Angeles, well beyond his stated intent to just go after violent and serious criminals. His agents are arresting dishwashers, gardeners, day laborers, and seamstresses. That's just weakness masquerading as strength. Donald Trump's government isn't protecting our communities. They're traumatizing our communities. And that seems to be the entire point. California will keep fighting. We'll keep fighting on behalf of our people, all of our people, including in the courts. Just yesterday, we filed a legal challenge to Donald Trump's reckless deployment of American troops to a major American city. Today, we sought an emergency court order to stop the use of the American military to engage in law enforcement activities across Los Angeles. If some of us could be snatched off the streets without a warrant, based only on suspicion or skin color, then none of us are safe. Authoritarian regimes begin by targeting people who are least able to defend themselves, but they do not stop there. Trump and his loyalists, they thrive on division because it allows them to take more power and exert even more control. And by the way, Trump, he's not opposed to lawlessness and violence as long as it serves him. What more evidence do we need than January 6th? I ask everyone, take time reflect on this perilous moment. A president who wants to be bound by no law or constitution, perpetuating a unified assault on American traditions. This is a president who in just over 140 days has fired government watchdogs that could hold him accountable for corruption and fraud. He's declared a war on culture, on history, on science, on knowledge itself. Databases, quite literally, are vanishing. He's delegitimizing news organizations, and he's assaulting the First Amendment.
Dude, this is like, he's mustered up the courage to hit like 2016 anti-Trump lines finally.
What universities themselves can teach.
But like, I'm sorry, we need more than this. We need more than this. This is not 2016. This is fucking 2025. You need to be way more aggro now.
For no other reason than to, in his
He's
own
literally
words,
hitting all the liberalism high notes from 2016. Like, this is not us. We must resist against Trump, all this shit. But I think right now, what we need, oh my God, 127,000 people watching Midas Touch. God damn it, they're so sick. They're so popping.
in the past. Look, this isn't just about protests here in Los Angeles. When Donald Trump sought blanket authority to commandeer the National Guard, he made
I
that
succumb
order
to
apply
liberalism.
every state
I'm out.
in this
I'm
nation.
done.
This
Fuck
is about
this
all of
radical
us.
shit.
This
Liberalism is
you.
winning. I'm taking a knee.
California
I'm
may
taking
be
a bow.
first, but it clearly will not end here. Other states are next. Democracy is next. Democracy is under assault before our eyes. This moment we have feared has arrived. He's taking a wrecking ball to our founding fathers' historic project. 3 co-equal branches of independent government. There are no longer any checks and balances. Congress is nowhere to be found. Speaker Johnson has completely abdicated that responsibility. The rule of law has increasingly been given way to the rule of Don. The founding fathers died.
The rule of Don.
It's time for all of us to stand up. Justice Brandeis, he said it best. In a democracy, the most important office, with all due respect, Mr. President, is not the presidency, and it's certainly not governor. The most important office is office of citizen. At this moment, we all need to stand up and be held to account, a higher level of accountability.
Say it. We need to take
If
it
you
to the streets.
rights,
Say it.
Please.
We need to disrupt
please,
ICE
do it
activities.
I know many of you
Gavin
feeling
Newsom
deep
says
anxiety,
it's time for the
stress,
citizens to
and
take up
fear.
arms and engage in
But
guerrilla
I know
warfare.
that you are the antidote to that fear.
It's time for a
and that
peasants'
anxiety.
revolution.
What Donald
A
Trump
peasants'
wants
rebellion.
most is your fealty, your silence to be complicit in this moment. Do not.
Gavin Newsom. The rural farmland surrounds the cities. Make no mistake. We are numerous. Gavin Newsom, he's like, I'm putting weapons crates. I'm putting weapons crates in every town, in every neighborhood. Viva la revolution! Yeah, he watched Andor. Such a meaningless statement, I know. It's actually remarkable how little motion this statement had. I did think he was going to say something. Like, I thought he was going to say anything. Like, something different, something unique. No, it was just like... It basically served the function of, like, entertaining a bid for his 2028 run.
For the most part, he was certainly letting his feelings be known about President Trump, saying California is first, but it will not end. Democracy is under assault. The rule of law has given way to the rule of Don. He has asked people to exercise their First Amendment rights, but do it peacefully. And with that, that ends our coverage at this hour on the ICE raids in downtown Los Angeles. Thanks for watching KCAL News, and our live coverage will continue of the
back and forth between his state and Los Angeles specifically and the White House and President Trump, including comments that the president has made saying that if he was his border czar, he would have Governor Newsom arrested, something that the governor there invoked as he was essentially referencing not only what we've been seeing play out in Los Angeles, the which he was plenty critical of, including Trump bypassing the governor there to deploy the National Guard, also sending hundreds of Marines to Los Angeles. He also invoked the fact that he had implied having him arrested, the president's upcoming military parade that he's having here in Washington, his fight with Harvard, and he warned other states in that speech that, quote, other states are next. He said that Donald Trump is not opposed to lawlessness, and he invoked what happened on January 6th. He also addressed what we've been seeing play out over the last several nights in Los Angeles and condemned the violence and the vandalism. He pointed to the hundreds of arrests that have played out so far already in that city and said that they are working through video and compiling additional cases, as he thanked the Los Angeles Police Department for the work that it's done so far and said it was needless to have the National Guard also deployed there. Those were notable comments coming from the governor after a vicious back and forth between President Trump and Governor Newsom, as he has repeatedly criticized the job that Newsom has done and said if it was not for him sending in the National Guard, that Los Angeles would be burning to the ground. I want to bring in CNN's Priscilla Alvarez back here with me, also our chief and law enforcement and intelligence analyst, John Miller. But Scott Jennings and Kate Bedingfield, I want to start with you because, Kate, obviously, to hear what we just did from Governor Newsom, he went far beyond just what has been happening in terms of Los Angeles and the protests there and how the president and the White House have responded. I mean, he has essentially was attacking everything that has happened over the last several months that Donald Trump has been in office. He said the moment that we feared has arrived.
Yeah, I think he's using this moment to channel some of the energy that a faction of the Democratic base wants to see from Democratic leaders. I think this is the
that's
kind
exactly
of thing
what it is.
that
But I mean that as a pejorative.
That the Democrats are not taking on
Here's my assessment. I foolishly thought gruesome Governor Gavin Newsom would have something new and interesting to say beyond what we've already experienced for the past couple of months. Wild that only now are we reaching levels of 2016 resistance liberalism when the moment requires so much more.
About abuse of power, it can resonate.
I think there's got to be a little bit more emotion beyond. Like Gavin needs to go to the fucking protests and shit. You know what I mean? Like he needs to participate in action. Like we can't be doing 2016 liberalism. That already failed. Trump is president again. You know what I mean? Get the heater out. Okay, let that chopper sing. Come on, Gav. You really milked him